Welcome back to the Speaking Habit podcast, where you will build your English speaking confidence every day. Over the next 4 episodes, we are going to be introducing you to common English phrases that you will hear and can use in everyday conversations.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Ben.
And I'm Anna, and we are so happy you're here with us today. This is episode 1 of our brand new 4-part series, and honestly, Ben, I'm really excited about this one.
Same. We've been planning this for a while, and I think it's going to be really useful for our listeners. Today, we're diving into the kind of English you actually hear every day. Not the textbook stuff, but real, natural phrases that people use all the time.
Exactly. The speaking habit is all about building confidence through exposure, listening to natural English so that when you're in a real conversation, these phrases come to you naturally.
Absolutely. So today, we have 2 sections, greetings and small talk, those phrases you use when you bump into someone, and then phrases for agreeing and disagreeing politely, which is so important.
So important because nobody wants to sound rude, right? And in English, there are some really lovely ways to disagree with someone without it becoming awkward. But we'll get to that. Let's start at the very beginning. Greetings.
Yes. Okay, so the first phrase for today is one that you have definitely heard before. It's, how's it going? Now, this is a really common greeting in English, and it's used instead of how are you, but it's much more casual and relaxed.
Right? Yeah. How are you? Can sometimes sound a little bit formal depending on the situation, but how's it going? That's what friends say, that's what colleagues say when they pass each other in the hallway.
And how's it going isn't always a real question. Sometimes it's really just saying hello. So the expected answer is short. Not bad, thanks. Or pretty good, how about you?
Short, positive answers are perfect. If someone says, how's it going to you, don't panic. Just say, good thanks, how about you? And you're golden. Always bounce it back. It keeps the conversation flowing. Okay, our next phrase is, what have you been up to? This one is different because it's asking about what someone has actually been doing recently.
Up to just means doing. So, what have you been up to means what have you been doing lately? Use it when catching up with someone you haven't seen in a while.
This one invites a longer answer than, how's it going? You're genuinely asking about someone's life. So you might say, not much, I've been pretty busy with work, or I went on holiday last week.
So, listeners, next time you want to catch up with a friend, try what have you been up to? It's warm and friendly, and it opens the door for them to share something.
I love that phrase. It really does feel warm. Okay, next one, and this is a fun one. Long time no see. Now, this is a very informal, very friendly phrase, and you use it when you haven't seen someone in a long time. Weeks, months, maybe even years.
It doesn't quite make grammatical sense, but everyone knows what it means. It's just a cheerful way of saying, wow, it's been a while since we saw each other.
Ha, exactly. And it's usually said with a big smile and maybe a hug. So picture this. You bump into an old school friend at the supermarket, completely by surprise. You'd say, oh my goodness, long time no see, how are you? It's that kind of energy.
And it flows naturally into other questions. Long time no see. What have you been up to? See how those phrases connect together?
Yes, you can stack them. That's such a good point. All right, let's move to the next one. How was your weekend? Now, this one is probably one of the most common phrases you'll hear in an English-speaking workplace, especially on a Monday morning.
Absolutely. It's the Monday morning ritual. You make your coffee and someone says, how was your weekend? It's polite small talk and a great way to start a friendly conversation.
You don't need a long answer. Yeah, it was really nice. We went out for dinner. How about yours? Simple, natural, and you're involving the other person.
And if the weekend wasn't great, just say, quiet one at home. Keep it friendly and brief unless they seem genuinely interested in more.
Read the room, as they say. Okay, let's talk about one of the most classic topics in English small talk, the weather. It sounds cliched, but it's genuinely very normal in everyday English conversation, especially in the UK.
Yes, we really do. The weather is neutral, it doesn't get political or personal, so it's a safe, easy way to break the ice.
A phrase you'll hear a lot is, "Lovely day, isn't it?" Used when the weather is actually nice. The "isn't it" is a question tag, turning it into a mini question that invites the other person to agree.
Another phrase you'll hear a lot, "Can you believe this weather?" Used when the weather is surprising, good or bad. Like after a week of rain, "Can you believe this weather?" With a bit of exasperation.
Yes! And people will almost always agree because weather is something everyone experiences together. Suddenly you have a little connection with a stranger. I know, right? It's been absolutely miserable.
"How's it going?" A casual greeting. "What have you been up to?" Asking about recent life. "Long time no see," for reconnecting after a while. "How was your weekend?" Classic Monday morning small talk. And weather phrases like, "Lovely day, isn't it?" And "Can you believe this weather?"
Remember, the best way to learn these is to try using them. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. That's exactly why the podcast is called The Speaking Habit.
All right, let's move into section 2, phrases for agreeing and disagreeing politely. Being able to express your opinion without sounding blunt or rude is a real skill in English.
In English, particularly British English, there's a lot of softening. People don't usually just say, "No, you're wrong." They find ways to express disagreement that still feel respectful. And once you learn those phrases, conversations become so much smoother.
Exactly. So let's start with an agreement phrase. I know, right? Now, this is a very enthusiastic way to agree with someone. It means, yes, I completely agree. And it often carries a tone of shared surprise or shared feeling about something.
So, if a friend says, "The queues at that supermarket are absolutely ridiculous lately," and you agree, you'd say, "I know, right? Every single time. It's like you're both on the same team."
Yes, it creates that sense of solidarity. And it's very informal. You wouldn't say it in a work meeting necessarily, but with friends, with classmates, with colleagues in a casual setting, it's perfect.
Okay, next one. Fair enough. This is a really versatile little phrase. It basically means, "I accept what you're saying," or "that makes sense to me." It's not super enthusiastic agreement. It's more calm and reasonable. Like you might not have thought of it that way, but you accept it now. Even in a debate, if someone makes a point you hadn't considered, you might say, "Fair enough, I hadn't thought about it like that." It shows you're open-minded and actually listening.
All right, here's a great idiom. You took the words right out of my mouth. It means someone said exactly what you were thinking before you had the chance to say it.
So, for example, you and a friend finish watching a film, and your friend says, "I thought the ending was a bit rushed," and you were about to say the same thing, so you say, "You took the words right out of my mouth."
Perfect example. And it's quite a warm phrase. It makes the other person feel like their opinion is really valid, like you're completely aligned with them. It's a great one to have in your back pocket.
In your back pocket, meaning something you know and can pull out when you need it. Okay, now we're getting into the slightly trickier territory. What to say when you don't fully agree. And the first phrase for this is, "I see where you're coming from."
This is such a good one. I see where you're coming from means I understand your perspective, or I understand why you think that. But, and this is key, it doesn't mean you agree. It's a way of acknowledging someone's point of view before you offer a different one.
Right, so it softens the disagreement. Instead of just saying, "No, I disagree," you say, "I see where you're coming from, but I think," and then you give your point. It keeps things polite and it shows you've actually listened to the other person before responding.
Exactly. So imagine you're chatting with a friend about where to go for dinner. Your friend says, "Let's go to that new Thai place." And you're not so keen on Thai food. You wouldn't just say no. You might say, I see where you're coming from. It does look great, but would you maybe be up for something else tonight? Much smoother, right?
So much smoother. Nobody's feelings get hurt. And our final phrase in this section is, I'm not so sure about that. This is a gentle way to disagree or express doubt. It's not aggressive. It's not dismissive. It's just you saying, I'm not entirely convinced.
Yeah, and notice the phrasing, not so sure, not I'm wrong or you're wrong. It's hedged, it's careful, and that's a very English way of communicating, especially in situations where you want to be honest but also considerate of the other person.
Totally. So, for example, if a colleague says, I think we should move the whole project deadline forward by 2 weeks, and you think that's a bit risky, you might say, I'm not so sure about that. I think we might need a bit more time to do it properly. It's confident, but it's still respectful.
Perfect. And you can combine it with other phrases we've learned too. I see where you're coming from, but I'm not so sure about that. You're being empathetic, and you're being honest at the same time. That's the sweet spot.
You don't learn phrases by memorizing a list. You learn by hearing them in real situations. Listen more than once if you can. Each time you'll notice something new.
I know, right? Fair enough. You took the words right out of my mouth. I see where you're coming from, and I'm not so sure about that.
These are phrases that native speakers use every day without thinking about it. The goal is to get to that point where they feel automatic for you too, and you absolutely will get there with practice.
Exactly. All right, I think that just about wraps up this episode, Anna.
It really was. We have 3 more episodes in this mini-series, each packed with more everyday English phrases. So you definitely don't want to miss those.
Please do hit the like button if you enjoyed today's episode, and subscribe so you get notified the moment a new episode drops. It really helps us reach more learners.
Yes, please. Subscribe and come back for the next one. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's been an absolute pleasure. We'll see you in the next episode. Keep speaking, keep practicing, and keep building that habit. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone. Take care.